You know that moment when you finally walk away from something that's been breaking you, and instead of feeling free, you feel lost? It's like stepping off a roller coaster and the world is still spinning. The chaos is gone, but so is the sense of knowing what comes next. That's the thing about toxic relationships. They rewire how we see ourselves. When we leave, we don't just grieve the person, we grieve the version of ourselves we became to survive them. And healing? It's not a straight path. It's messy, it's uncomfortable, and some days it feels impossible. But here's what I know for sure. We can heal, and not just in a pat yourself up and move on kind of way. I'm talking about real, deep, soul-level healing, the kind that brings us back to who we were before the hurt. And that healing starts with 5 things. First, people think the hardest part is walking away, but the real work begins after. Studies show that emotional bonds in toxic relationships mimic addiction. Our brains literally crave the familiarity, even when it's harmful. That's why it's normal to feel doubt, sadness, even nostalgia for something you know wasn't good for you. Healing starts when we stop confusing discomfort with wrong choices. The pain of healing is different from the pain of staying stuck. One keeps us in the dark, the other moves us toward light. I've had so many people tell me, I left, so why do I feel worse? Or shouldn't I feel free, happy? And the answer is not right away. Because leaving isn't just about walking out the door. It's about walking through all the emotional wreckage that's left behind. It's about unlearning the patterns that kept you in survival mode for so long. And survival mode is sneaky. It doesn't just turn off the minute you leave. Here's why. When we're in a toxic relationship, our nervous system is constantly in a state of high alert, waiting for the next argument, the next cold shoulder, the next moment of walking on eggshells. Over time, that becomes our normal. The body gets used to the stress, the uncertainty, the cycles of highs and lows. And even though it's painful, there's a strange comfort in what's familiar. The chaos becomes home. And when that chaos is gone, even if it was destroying us, our system doesn't automatically sigh with relief, it panics. It looks for what it knows, and if what it knows is dysfunction, it's going to feel deeply uncomfortable in peace. That's why people go back, not because they want to suffer, but because their nervous system is screaming, this is unfamiliar, and unfamiliar is unsafe. But here's what's true. Just because something feels uncomfortable doesn't mean it's wrong. In fact, discomfort is often the best sign that healing is happening. It means you're stepping into new territory. You're rewiring your brain. You're teaching your body a new way to exist, one that isn't constantly bracing for impact. And that takes time. You don't wake up one morning suddenly unhooked from all the emotional patterns that kept you in that relationship. You wake up and wonder if you made the right choice. You wake up and miss the good moments, the ones that made you stay. You wake up and feel lonely because, for better or worse, that person occupied space in your life. And here's where the real work comes in. Not letting those feelings pull you back, but letting them move you forward. Because missing something doesn't mean you made the wrong choice. Feeling sad doesn't mean you should go back. Doubt isn't a sign that you failed, it's a sign that you're human. Our brains aren't wired to simply erase people, even when they've hurt us. That's why healing requires more than just leaving. It requires rebuilding, and rebuilding starts with honesty. Honesty about what was really happening in that relationship. Honesty about the parts of yourself that were lost in it. Honesty about the patterns that kept you holding on even when you knew you deserved better. Because the truth is, we don't just heal from the loss of the person, we heal from the loss of self that happened in the process. That's the work. Learning to sit with the discomfort without running back to what's familiar. Learning to trust that the pain of healing is temporary, but the pain of staying stuck is permanent. Learning to believe that you are capable of something more than just surviving. You are capable of thriving. And on the days when you feel like it's too hard, too painful, too unfamiliar, remember this. You are not walking away from love. You are walking toward yourself. Second, people think once they leave, the worst is over. But what no one tells you is that silence can feel louder than chaos. When you've spent so long anticipating the next outburst, the next moment of tension, the next unpredictable shift in mood, peace can feel unnatural. The absence of turmoil isn't always relief at first. It can feel like emptiness. And in that emptiness, self-doubt creeps in. Was it really that bad? Did I overreact? Maybe I could have tried harder. That's the sneaky part about toxic relationships. They don't just distort how you see the other person, they distort how you see yourself. You learn to minimize your pain, to rationalize mistreatment, to hold on to the tiny good moments as proof that things weren't that bad. And when you finally walk away, you don't just leave the relationship, you leave behind the version of yourself who accepted it. And that kind of change can feel disorienting. Your brain is wired for patterns. It finds comfort in familiarity, even when that familiarity was painful. It's why, after leaving a toxic relationship, so many people find themselves longing for the very thing that broke them. Not because they want to be hurt again, but because the alternative, this stillness, this unknown, feels like free falling. It's why people go back, not because they believe things will truly change, but because the discomfort of healing feels harder than the pain they've already learned how to live with. But here's what's real. Missing someone doesn't mean you made the wrong choice. Feeling lost doesn't mean you should turn around. The silence that feels deafening right now is actually space being made for something better, for peace that isn't uneasy, for love that doesn't have conditions, for self-worth that isn't tied to how well you can manage someone else's moods. And I know this is the part that's hard, because when you leave, you expect freedom to feel like a victory. You expect relief. And instead you get this ache, this weird in-between place where you don't quite recognize yourself yet. And the temptation to go back to reach for something, anything familiar, is overwhelming. But that's not your heart telling you to return. That's fear. That's your nervous system adjusting to the unfamiliar. That's your brain searching for the rhythm it's always known, even if that rhythm was chaos. Healing isn't about rushing to fill the silence. It's about learning to sit in it, to listen to it, to trust that in the stillness, something new is growing, and you are becoming someone who no longer needs the noise to feel whole. Third, people think missing someone means they should have stayed, but missing someone is not proof of love. It's proof of habit. The human brain is wired for connection, even unhealthy ones. Studies on trauma bonds show that when we're stuck in cycles of emotional highs and lows, our brains form deep attachments similar to addiction. That's why leaving doesn't instantly erase the longing. It's why you can know something was hurting you but still feel drawn to it. But here's what's important. Wanting something familiar isn't the same as wanting something good. And healing isn't about pretending you don't miss them. It's about recognizing that missing them doesn't mean they were meant for you. There's a reason why you feel that pull. The brain is designed for survival, and survival thrives on predictability. When you were in that relationship, even if it was painful, even if you felt unseen, your brain adjusted to that rhythm. The highs, the lows, the apologies, the moments of hope, the heartbreak, it became a pattern. And the brain clings to patterns, even the harmful ones, because familiarity feels safer than uncertainty. So when you leave, your mind goes into withdrawal. It starts scanning for what's missing, for the person who once occupied so much of your mental and emotional space. And because nostalgia has a selective memory, it doesn't highlight the hurt. It highlights the laughter, the inside jokes, the warmth of being held, the little moments that made it feel like maybe, just maybe, things weren't so bad. This is where so many people get stuck. They mistake the pain of withdrawal for the pain of loss. They think, if I miss them this much, maybe I was wrong to leave. They think, if I still love them, doesn't that mean we were meant to be together? But here's what's true. Love isn't just a feeling, it's a practice. It's safety, consistency, and mutual care. And missing someone doesn't mean they were good for you. It just means they were a part of your world for a long time. The key to healing isn't pretending the longing isn't there. It's letting it exist without letting it define your decisions. It's allowing yourself to grieve, not just the person, but the version of you that believed they would change. The version of you that tried to love them into being different. The version of you that held on for so long thinking that if you just did things right, it would finally be enough. And I want you to hear this. You are not weak for missing them. You are not broken for feeling this ache. It doesn't mean you made a mistake. It means your heart is doing what it was built to do. Seek connection. But the work now is making sure that connection is worthy of you, that it's not just familiar, but truly safe. That it's not just intoxicating, but deeply nourishing. That it's not just something you long for in the quiet, but something that honors you in the light of day. Healing isn't about shutting down the part of you that still cares. It's about teaching that part that love should never have to hurt this much. And one day, you'll wake up and realize that missing them no longer feels like losing yourself. Because the truth is, you were never missing them. You are missing the love you deserve. And that love is still ahead of you. Fourth, people think moving on is about time passing, but time alone doesn't heal anything. What you do with that time does. Healing is an active process. It's choosing every day to not romanticize the past, to not let loneliness rewrite history, to not let fear of the unknown drive you back to what's familiar. It's acknowledging that your nervous system might crave the chaos simply because it's what it knows, and gently teaching yourself a new way to exist. Healing happens when we stop searching for closure in the person who broke us and start creating it within ourselves. We love to say that time heals all wounds, but that's not entirely true. Time can soften pain. It can create distance. It can make the memories feel less sharp. But time alone doesn't change the story we tell ourselves. It doesn't automatically replace self-doubt with self-worth. It doesn't rewrite the old patterns that kept us stuck. That part, that's up to us. This is why so many people feel like they're waiting to feel normal again, waiting for the day they wake up and don't think about that person, waiting for time to fix it. But time doesn't fix what we refuse to face. Healing isn't passive. It's the small daily choices we make to rewire the way we see ourselves. It's resisting the urge to reach out just because the loneliness feels unbearable. It's reminding ourselves over and over again that we deserve peace, even when it feels unfamiliar. It's catching the moments where nostalgia tries to rewrite the past and saying, no, I remember how that felt. I remember why I left. And here's the thing about healing, it's messy. Some days you'll feel strong, like you're finally moving forward, and then out of nowhere, a song, a smell, or a random memory will pull you under again. And in those moments, it's easy to think you're failing, that you should be further along, that if time really healed, you wouldn't still feel this ache. But healing isn't linear. It's not a straight path from pain to peace. It's a series of loops and setbacks and small victories that don't always feel like victories. What really changes things isn't waiting for time to do the work. It's learning to show up for yourself in ways you were once desperate for someone else to do. It's learning to self-soothe when the loneliness creeps in. It's recognizing that the craving to go back isn't proof that you were meant to stay, but proof that you are still learning how to exist without something that wants to find you. And that learning, that's healing too. So no, time alone doesn't heal. What heals is what you do with that time, how you choose every day to believe that something better exists beyond this pain, how you choose to remind yourself, even when it's hard, that you are worthy of the love you keep trying to give everyone else, how you choose to trust that this ache is temporary, but what you are building for yourself, the peace, the self-respect, the deep knowing that you were never too much or not enough, is permanent. One day you'll wake up and realize you are no longer waiting, because the healing wasn't in the time that passed, it was in the way you used it. Fifth, people think freedom should feel good right away. But the truth is, freedom often feels terrifying at first, because when you've spent so much time being controlled, manipulated, or made to second guess your own reality, making your own choices can feel overwhelming. But every day you wake up and choose yourself. Choose to keep going, choose to not go back, choose to believe that something better exists on the other side of this pain. You are proving to yourself that you are stronger than the fear. And one day you'll wake up and realize that the freedom that once felt so unfamiliar now feels like home. Leaving was supposed to be the hard part, right? The moment you finally walked away, the moment you cut the last tie, you expected to feel light, like you could finally breathe again. But instead there's this weight, this strange, aching discomfort that you didn't expect. Because when someone else has dictated your reality for so long, freedom isn't just a gift, it's a responsibility. And that can be terrifying. For so long, your world revolved around their reactions, their moods, their needs. You learned how to navigate their storms, how to anticipate the next shift, how to keep the peace even at the cost of your own well-being. And now, for the first time in what feels like forever, there is no one telling you what to think, what to feel, what version of yourself is acceptable, and instead of relief, you feel lost. This is the part people don't talk about, that sometimes, even in freedom, there is grief. Not because you want to go back, but because you are mourning the version of yourself who believed love had to be earned through suffering. The version of yourself who spent so long trying to prove that they were worth staying for, and when that weight is suddenly gone, it's disorienting. Because if you are no longer living for them, who are you living for? That question is what makes people want to go back, not because they don't remember the pain, but because the pain was predictable. The chaos was something they knew how to survive. But real freedom, the kind where you wake up and no longer have to shrink yourself, no longer have to brace for impact, takes relearning. It takes building a life not around someone else's approval, but around your own self-trust. And that's scary because self-trust is a muscle. And if you've spent years doubting yourself, it's weak. But here's the thing, every time you make a decision based on what you want, every time you set a boundary, every time you choose to believe in your own worth, you are strengthening that muscle. And one day, what feels foreign now, this ability to live freely, to take up space, to exist without apologizing, will feel like second nature. One day, you will wake up and realize that the fear has been replaced with something else, peace. Because freedom isn't just about leaving something behind, it's about moving towards something new. And that something, it's you. The real you. The one who was never too much. The one who never had to earn love by sacrificing themselves. The one who, despite all the fear, all the doubt, all the days where it felt impossible, kept going. And that version of you, that's home. Healing after leaving a toxic relationship isn't about forgetting what happened or pretending it didn't hurt. It's about reclaiming yourself, your voice, your choices, your worth. It's about recognizing that missing them doesn't mean you made the wrong choice, that time alone won't heal you, and that freedom, while terrifying at first, is the gateway to becoming the person you were always meant to be. You don't have to have it all figured out today. You don't have to feel strong every moment. But if you take nothing else from this, take this. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are not unworthy of love. You are never the problem. And the life you are building now, the one that feels uncertain, unfamiliar, and sometimes unbearably quiet, is leading you to something beautiful, something real, something that will never require you to beg for the bare minimum. Keep going, keep trusting yourself. And when doubt creeps in, when the past calls you back, remember, the person you are becoming is worth more than the pain you left behind. Good luck. You've got this.